because then he would come, I would take him to community events, and then that took on a life of its own, and then people started, agencies started contacting me, like Auckland Transport rang me asking if Milo can help them promote pets on buses. So I was like, well, okay, sure. How did you even know about my dog? Yeah. So then he became the face of pets on buses.
A wonderful voice that we are connecting with this afternoon. I don't want to get this wrong. This is a wonderful quote. Change comes when you have different voices around the table with different backgrounds. It's only recently that change in decision makers has happened. Who said these profound words, I hear you say? There's none other than Councillor for Maungakiekie-Tamaki Josephine Bartley back in 2022, when we were very fortunate that Josephine was with us on Pasifika Wire via our Zoom a few years ago. Fast forward, and she has just been re-elected as the Maungakiekie-Tamaki City Councillor. Now, she's made some real huge headways. First Pacific woman elected to the Auckland City Council back in 2010, served on the local board, also has law degrees, graduated in 1998, criminal, early career admitted to the High Court, focused on consumer law, an advisor for the Ministry of Law, Consumer Affairs in 2002, and is here now as one of the strongest advocates and voices for not only our Pasifika community, but for Tamaki Makaurau. And she is here also with a very special guest, Milo, we say. Malo lavale soifua, and welcome to Josephine and Milo. Hi! It's so great to see you guys.
Oh, talofa, kia ora. Thank you for having us. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And this little... Oh, he's gorgeous. I got to say, Josephine, tell us about Milo.
Well, this is Milo. I've had him. Thank you. He's all about the kisses. I think I've had him now 3 years, going on 4 years. A good friend of mine, he went overseas, and he needed someone to look after him for 6 months.
Wow. So
I took him on, and within a month I was already posting on Facebook about me and him. And my friend Afua Tavira Malolo and his wife Fiona Perolini messaged me and said, oh, look, it looks like you two have got a strong connection. How about you keep Milo? And so that's how I got him.
And how you got him. And the rest is history. And he is online famous. I was just saying, my mother-in-law follows the Milo and Josephine, page. So what made you get into that? How did that come about?
I would post a lot of pictures of him because he's just so cute. And then people started saying, can you do a separate social media, because we don't want to see your council posts. We want to follow the dog. And I was like, oh, rude. So then I started doing his own Instagram, but then I just kept his stuff on my page, and then we kind of intertwined, because then he would come, I would take him to community events, and then that took on a life of its own, and then people started, agencies started contacting me, like Auckland Transport rang me asking if Milo can help them promote pets on buses. So I was like, well, okay, sure. How did you even know about my dog? Yeah. So then he became the face of pets on buses. And then I've just, the RSA, the Mount Wellington Pamir RSA, they had an event, and they sent him an official invitation.
So Milo got it, and you were after.
Yeah, I was just the add-on. Yeah. But one of his first events was the Pasifika Autism Social, the children's social, and you had to dress as superheroes. So, Milo's got a whole wardrobe of outfits. So he dressed as a superhero, and he loved it, and the kids loved him. So, it's just from there on, lots of invites.
And he's following in your footsteps as an advocate and community service. So for you, Take us back to the time when you thought to yourself, I'm already serving my community, but this is an area of public service that you wanted to go into.
Yes, because I grew up over in Maungakiekie, so I'm just doing the same thing I did over there. I was volunteering in the dog squad at the SPCA. So I had a dog called Oliver back then. This is like the 1990s. Oh. And we would always, because I'm also competitive. So when we would go, to the Christmas parades, whatever, and we'd do the fundraising, you'd have the buckets. And I always made sure my dog won, had the heaviest bucket. And that's because we would go off the parade route, we'd go to the TAB, we'd go everywhere, and then we'd just get money, lots of money. So, so I was doing that then. And so it's no surprise now with Milo that, he's getting active in the community. I was volunteering at the Women's Refuge, volunteering in church. Volunteered. I would volunteer at the Maungakiekie Community Law Centre during the school holidays, and during the holidays, the varsity holidays, and even the lawyers there would say, "Don't you want to go and hang out with your friends and do what normal kids do, rather than volunteer at the law centre?" I'm like, nah. So just carried on.
Yeah, and that passion is still there?
It's still there, yeah. Sometimes I think, well, what would it be like to just do a normal 9 to 5?
Right.
Not respond to, all the constituent issues that come through 24/7 and just close off at 5 o'clock. Sometimes I wonder what's that like, but I can't help it. I have to, when people Facebook message me, I have to respond.
And that's all hours of it?
All hours.
Really?
Yeah. Because with social media, it's instant, as opposed to email. I can have a look at it on Monday or whatever. But, people message you all hours. Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, is this your third term now as a city council?
3.5.
3.5.
Because I came in a by-election.
That's right.
Yeah, so 3.5.
You still loving it?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I'm still loving it. I always check myself if I'm, do I still want to do this?
Yeah.
Do I still want to do it? Yep. Okay. So then I carry on. Yeah.
And very exciting because you had the inauguration just a couple of weeks back, and some of your family were there to see it. How heartening is it to see the growth of more Pasifika coming into local body?
It's awesome. There's more Pasifika than Māori, which is, it's not too good, but Pasifika, I don't know what it is about us, but there are a lot of us in local government. It's good.
Because it was encouraging to see that there were so many standing, especially out in South Auckland, and just the volumes of numbers. I would attribute that to the work that you've done alongside Councillor Lotu Fuli, the late Whanana, our Filipaina. You guys have just done so much to encourage our young voices to come into this foray. Is that one of the things that also keeps you going?
Keeps me going. It is. I guess I do it I don't do it in a direct way. I don't go and say, hey, actually, I have done that. I have said to people, hey, you should run for local board. And then, really push them to put their nomination forward. So I have done it that way. But I also, I did my first lecture at University of Auckland, their Pacific Studies class. Is that what you call it? Whatever. So
lectures,
I did my first lecture there, and it was about local government, and it was awesome because I was almost, I was getting so fired up, And then they were getting fired up. And, one of them, the normal lecturer said to me, that's the first time one of the students in that class has said anything. Because for the whole term, she's been quiet. And then when I did my lecture, she was coming at me hard with her questions. Mm-hmm. One of her questions was, why doesn't the council give, if the council's got land, why doesn't they give it back to Māori? And then I put up a picture of the councillors and the mayor. I said, this is your governing body. This is the governing body that didn't support Māori seats. So do you think this governing body is going to support giving land back to Māori? No. And she was like, oh, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no. And then she goes, so what can we do about it? And I said, you can vote. Make sure you can vote. And then you can put yourself forward and stand. But it was just, I loved it. Like, I was like firing up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just saying to them, it's you. You're the ones that can make the difference. And they were like, oh, wow. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
And that difference, voter turnout, seems to be continuing to be lower. And that is obviously a concern. Why do you think people aren't getting out to vote?
I think people don't understand, or really, they got too much on already trying to survive, to then think, oh, let me see about my local government elections, about the annual plan and the annual budget. Mm. And maybe for some people, they still think it's ratepayers that should be doing the voting, or, not them because they're not a homeowner. Maybe, right. Yeah. When I have door knocked and I've said to people, well, how come you're not interested in voting? And they said, oh, because we don't know who's standing. Okay. A lot of people said that. Yeah, they said, oh, there was a time when I knew everybody on the ballot paper. Now I don't know who these people are. So I think it's a bit of that, and it's a bit of they don't see the importance or relevance of it. Yeah.
You're changing that, like, just by getting out there in the community, using social media. What are some of the highlights for you in this role?
I think the highlights are where you can see that you've had an impact, being a voice for your communities. I think what I take as validation, I suppose, is when we had the lockdowns and the only way to get out was to get the vaccination rate up. And you had some councillors that were literally patting themselves on the back saying, well, my area's got a high vax rate, And I was just saying, that's not how it works. The city doesn't operate in isolation of each other. So you can't really pat yourself on the back, because you've got to actually get in and support the areas that have the low rate, so that we get it up and we can all get out of the lockdown. Mm. And so I remember saying to Phil Goff, where's the council? We're carrying on business as usual, knowing that a big chunk of our vulnerable communities will die, through this COVID. And we're just carrying on with our meetings. And so then we saw this ship of Auckland Council turn and start focusing on our vulnerable communities. So that was a highlight, to see the influence and to see that we used our voice and we were heard and we had action. Yeah.
And with action, you've got a different range of councillors in this time. How easy is it to work alongside people that you don't necessarily agree with on their policies, on the way they see things? How easy is that to work alongside them?
It's all right, because at the end of the day, we're all there for our communities, and when you know that, then you can find a way through things. Yep. I've put up notices of motion, and I've been able to have unanimous support around the table when I've put up a notice of motion, and and that's because like when I have done that, it's around alcohol harm. Well, all councillors want to do something about alcohol-related harm. And so that was the first time a council had supported a private member's bill. That was Chloe Swarbrick's bill, and I got unanimous support around the table to support it. It's all right. You just see what you have in common and you use that. Yeah. So that's been good.
Have you managed to have some downtime just with the elections, the campaigning, everything that's been happening? Where's your happy place? Where do you go to when you need some downtime?
My downtime now is my garden. Yeah, I'm one of those people. Like I never, ever thought I would be a garden person.
Right.
But that's my sanctuary. And my garden, I tried to grow food, but then he started peeing on the veggies. So now I don't garden food, I garden flowers.
Right.
And all dog safe. So I've almost made I read up about these dog safe gardens where you have things in there that build his confidence. So that's my garden. I have the safe plants for dogs. And then I have, little tyres in there, things that he would probably come across on a hood walk when we're walking in the street.
Right.
A little thing, like a big gnome, and when he pees on it and then he kicks his feet, it's that whole kind of dog dominance behaviour. But it builds up his confidence.
Right.
Yeah, so I have that.
You've got that as well. Yeah. And have you noticed a change in people's attitude towards their pets, just simply by you and Milo, advocating, reaching out there on social media?
100%. Because they comment, they post pictures of their pets on my post. And, it's awesome. It's really awesome. And they're not even my friends on Facebook. They're not Facebook friends.
Wow.
Yeah.
They're just reaching out.
Yeah, from all over the country. It's pretty awesome.
And just share, what are they sharing with you? Is it like tips on how to care for their pets, or just sharing their stories?
I will post, I did a picture just of him looking happy when we woke up, and I didn't have much sleep because he kicks in his sleep.
Right.
And then other people posted their picture of their dogs just waking up, and it's really cool. It's like an online community of dog owners and dog lovers. Yeah, so so he gets a lot of interaction and engagement on his posts.
I was going to say.
Yeah, and I look at the insights, and it's like I don't even track my posts anymore, but I did have a look, and it said it was, I can't even remember, but it was in the hundreds of thousands, the insights on my posts. And I'm like, wow. So it's cool. Yeah, but I just don't know. I just think, I'm just posting about my dog.
Yeah. And he takes it all in his stride?
Yeah. And when we go out in the public and people know him.
Right.
Yeah, they're like, hi Milo. They don't know my name, but they know him. But
they know Milo. Well, just as we were coming up and you saw one of your a colleague who knew you, and instantly Milo was, sort of the centre of the attraction.
Yep.
Do you feel sometimes that you're having to compete?
Yes, 100%. Yeah. Yeah. Especially when I go places.
Yeah.
And first thing people ask me is, where's the dog? Where's the dog? And I'm like,
really?
He's at home. But I'm here.
Yeah, me.
Yeah, me. I'm here. Yeah. It's been funny.
Is he allowed to go into city council?
No, he's not allowed in the council building, just in case people have phobias.
Okay.
So he's not in the council building. That's why he loves the community events.
Right.
Yeah.
He's able to get out and about.
Yeah.
For you, I know there's, so many challenges that we're facing: cost of living, poverty, homelessness. What are some of the areas that you're also very keen to see more awareness, more talanoa around?
Homelessness, definitely homelessness. A lot of people think, when they think homelessness, they think people that are sleeping on the streets, but it's bigger than that. You know, it is people sleeping on the streets, but it's also a lot of women in their 60s are, trying to find somewhere to live. Couch surfing. I advocated for one lady. She was in her 60s and she was sleeping on a couch at a friend's place. So I was able to help her get into a home. Yeah, it's massive. I did a TikTok over in Oranga because the subcontractors that go in and board up a house, kainga water house, they were finding people, like families, going back to sleep in the homes. So I left my card and I left a note for the families, like, if you need help, contact me. I even went through MSD, and MSD looked up, the previous tenants of this place to try and find this family. And then the neighbours saw my TikTok and they messaged me saying, yes, we've seen them. They come in really late at night. And so they said that they would go and talk to the family to contact me and I can try and help them. I had Kahui to Kaha's outreach team going out to try and find them. Yeah, so, it's not... a lot of people have a lot of judgment about the ones that are sleeping rough on the street and the ones that are choosing to be homeless. But there's a whole lot of homeless that they're not visible and they don't want to be visible. And, yeah.
The people that are sort of sleeping through the cracks, so to speak?
Yeah. The ones that have been stood down, with this discretionary criteria from the minister.
Oh, wow. And so in terms of community advocacy and our churches, where do they all fit in? How do we get... Is there still that involvement, say, maybe as much as it was 20, 30 years ago, if I could ask that?
Yeah, I don't... I think they're more vocal, the churches that I've seen. Like, they're definitely, got a social justice arm to them, and they're using their voice to advocate. Yeah. And even in my area, you've got Faith Family Baptist Church. This is one example. And they do the emergency transitional housing through one of their trusts. But, that's faith in action. Yeah, very active. I'm on the board of Vinnie's, which is Catholic.
Right.
And that's faith in action right there. They're providing food parcels for at minimum 20,000 families. So, yeah, I've seen churches become very much more active. Yeah.
How much has changed? I mean, you've already touched on it. How much has changed from when you first started as a councillor to now?
When I first started as a councillor, how much has changed? You mean in terms of our communities? Or?
Yeah, just in terms of the work that you're, undertaking, what you're seeing out there. Obviously, we had COVID in between, but for you, just in terms of that... being able to, reach wider communities and solution-based, if I can ask that.
Yeah, I see a more responsive council. Like when we raised these issues initially, there was a lot of pushback, like, oh, that's not a council thing, that's a central government thing. But what I've noticed is there's more effort and willingness to see, well, what can council do? We have Ron Suka, who's the regional homeless homelessness advisor, and he's amazing, the work he does. One man, but it's through partnerships. So I see a willingness to do more. It's just, how it's funded. Yeah, it's but the council still funds Housing First, 500,000.
Is there an opportunity, do you get to network with all the other local boards, not only in Auckland but in the regions as well? Do you get a chance to do that? Do you think that's something you would want to do in terms of creating a Pasifika, like, local body network?
I think it's a good idea, but it won't happen formally because Auckland Council isn't part of local government New Zealand anymore. You know, the LGNZ association.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not. That was a saving. I think to join it was like 100,000, maybe. That's what Auckland Council was paying. And so, you know, with this mayor, he's very fiscally minded. So if we were to do like the networking, it would probably need to happen. Like the councillors and the local board would have to make it happen themselves. But I think there's a lot of benefit to it.
Yeah. I know the challenges are different across the country. Must be heartening. You as the first Pacific woman to be a city councillor in Auckland, and now we've got our first Pasifika mayor down in what part of Wellington? Mr. Whawano Kinlaban.
Lower Hutt.
Lower Hutt.
Yeah.
So huge strides, but is it really? Like, in terms of, it's been a long time coming, hasn't it?
Long time coming. But even when I got onto the council in 2018, you know, and then people started saying, oh, you're the first Pasifika woman to get on. And I was like, is that a good thing? You know, that it took 2018 for that to happen? I don't know. But, I mean, we've got the shoulders that we stand on, like a Latino Paddy Walker, first Pasifika woman on Auckland City Council. Is it Manapuri? What's it?
Tupo
Manapuri over in Manukau, first Pasifika woman to get on the Manukau City Council.
Okay. This is before the Super City, isn't it?
Before the Super City, yeah.
Gotcha.
So when it was, you know, the separate councils, we had Pasifika women repping back then. But then, yes, 2010, the Super City and all of the councils becoming one. Yeah, that was pretty major.
So makes those changes. For you, what would you like to see in terms of how we encourage more of our communities to get out and, you know, be part of local body decisions, coming to see you, to, you know, seek more information? What would you like to see being done there?
I would like to see it turn into people putting themselves up for positions, because I do get, you know, in my area, our Pacific community don't really rack up on council issues.
Right.
But then we had roadworks, and then they racked up. Yeah. Okay. A lot of tagging me on Facebook, a lot of complaining, a lot of posts, and that it was because they were being held up in the traffic, and poor communication, you know, not being told that these roadworks were happening. So they know how to get active, and they know how to, you know, they know the council when they need to know the council. Yeah, when it affects their daily life. So I was like, okay. But also, you know, understand why you're having the roadworks. It's because we're doing some work under the ground to put the pipes in so we don't flood, or we're finally getting, you know, the overbridge that we need, because people shouldn't be crossing over railway tracks. It's not safe. Yeah, so we do definitely need better communication of what the council is doing, but our people do know the council when it affects them.
Yep.
Yep.
You, a very public job, you're out there on the cold face. Has there ever been a time where you thought, I don't want to do this anymore? Just in the unlikely moments where you're just like,
Oh, yeah, when I'm getting blamed. When I'm getting blamed for a lot of things that I had no hand in the decision making, that's really frustrating because I can't do anything about it. And yet to the public, it's my fault. And I get tagged and everything. And the ones who did make the decision, well, they're nobody knows their name, so they can't tag them on Facebook. And they're not owning it, you know, and so, yeah, that is extremely frustrating. Yeah, when you get the blame for something that you didn't have a hand in. I will happily take the blame for something I had a hand in the decision because I own my decisions, but where I didn't, and then I get a lot of hate, that's frustrating.
How do you deal with that? How do you put that aside? How do you sort of regroup?
I try and find the answer. So I end up taking up the role of the ones who did make the decision, and I get involved and, you know, find a way forward, because to the public, they don't see whose decision it was, they just see you, and so you've got to find the answer. You've got to provide the solution and respond. So that helps me to move past. If I can just help them through it, then, yeah.
Is it a lonely position to be in sometimes when you're having to, shoulder that?
Yes, definitely. And sometimes I forget the other councillors go through the same thing.
Right.
Because we don't actually get the chance to sit down and talk to each other and say, oh, did you get someone message you at 11 o'clock last night about this? You don't do that. It's always on, and it's about the next decision that you're making. Yeah, you just don't get that chance to talk to each other as councillors. I realised when Victoria Short was giving her inaugural speech, her maiden speech, and she talked about constituents contacting her, late at night, and then I was like, oh, so it's not just me.
Yeah.
She gets it too. And then, which is good. I don't mind. It's good. I always, when they do that, I screenshot it and I email it to myself, so I've got that paper trail and I've got the right officers involved to be able to respond to the issue. So, what was your question again? Oh, have I felt like giving up?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But then I never give up. I just carry on. Yeah. I definitely carry on. How do I regroup? I write everything down. I get it out of my head, and then I'm like, okay, I've done everything I can to address that issue. And then I email the CEOs of the relevant department, and I'm like consistent, like persistent, and I just keep on and keep on. Yeah. I'll put it in writing, so there's a paper trail. I'll put it to them in a public meeting when they come to governing body. And so because they don't want to hear it again from me, they make sure there's action on it.
And they get on with it.
Yeah, so that's...
It's good, but also it shouldn't take that, should it?
Yeah, it shouldn't. And it shouldn't take me doing it.
Yeah.
It should be, any member of the public should be able to have an issue dealt with. Yeah.
I was thinking about your inauguration, and correct me if I'm wrong, you did your speech in Samoan?
Yeah. Yeah.
How was that?
I was in the toilet beforehand practicing out loud. I wasn't going to. I was going to do it in Māori and English.
Right.
But then my family started turning up and they were like, oh, so you're ready to do it in Samoan? Oh, no. So I went to Lotu and I said, have you got the Samoan version? And she said, yep. And so I practiced it with Lotu and Josephine from the Otara Health. Yeah, so then I practiced it, and then I went in and swore it in Samoan. Yeah.
That just must have, I mean, I watched it and I thought, wow, just that moment in time. That's another milestone, isn't it?
Yeah, I've never been emotional when I've done it before.
Right.
Other inaugurations, no, I didn't. I never cried. And this time, it kind of surprised me, and I tried to distract myself by rubbing my nose, but I just looked, I was like ugly crying. And I think it was the fact that first Tofilao Bernadette Pereira put a lei on me,
right,
which was beautiful. That got me. And then when I said my name, Josephine Ruth Bartley, that got me, because my mum used to complain to me before, why don't you use my name? Her name is Ruth. And I never did. And then now it's on the ballot paper and I always use her name. And then my brother and my sister-in-law turning up to surprise me. So, yeah, I was struggling to get through the oath. Yeah.
Oh, you did amazing. And I'm just thinking of those, our young ones who are watching and aspiring to one day be around that decision table that you spoke about and making that change. What would you say to them?
Do it. Do it. Stop reading, negative media stories and boxing yourself. Just do it. Because that's what I was surprised. I was talking to one group out south, young people, and it was like they felt they were limited because of what they read in the media and all the stereotypes out there about South Auckland. And I was like, we never had that when we were in Maungakiekie, because you didn't have social media back then for us. And we just never knew the limitations. Like me and my sisters, my friends I went to Macaulay with, we've all done well.
Yeah.
My brothers have done well, because we never, we weren't exposed to any other way of looking at ourselves. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And so, but these young ones are like, oh, nah, I can't do it because I'm from South. Don't put the limitations on yourself. Just do it. Yeah, that's what I would say to them. Do it. Mm-hmm.
How hard is it to campaign? Is it true you need a lot of money? You've got to have a lot of... Because you've been through, several now. If you don't mind me asking, that does add up, doesn't it? And you have to bear the costs? Yeah. In the past, I've pretty much put up the majority of my campaign budget. My family have and me. But this time round, I joined in with the local board candidates, and it was a combined campaign. Okay.
So that was pretty cool. It's hard. I definitely in my past campaigns, spent probably around 8,000.
Okay.
6,000, no more than that. My opposition spent in the 20s. I remember one guy who stood against me spent like 25,000 against me, and I think I had just spent like 6,000 and still won.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's another awesome feeling when people see you don't have the resources like your opposition, and they still, they look at other things. They base their vote on other things as opposed to how much collateral they get in their mailbox or how many billboards are out there.
Yeah.
I think that shows that people are awesome. So look at other things.
Well, I've seen you go to community events where there's just a handful of people to huge major ones. You are everywhere. When people ask you, you show up. Is there ever a time you just want to say, no, I can't?
There's times where I feel like I don't want to go. I'm completely tired.
Yeah.
But then I'm honoured that they invited me, so I try and go. Unless, I just am physically unwell, then I'll let them know that I can't make it. I missed the Onehunga Christmas parade one year because I was pretty sick. But, I love to I'm normally a judge at the parade, and he dresses up.
Yeah.
And, it's just awesome.
I'm just marvelling at how calm he is. He's just, he's in the zone.
Yep, he's in the zone. Yeah. So, and there's going to come a day where people don't invite me to things, so I want to make the most of it.
Yeah, okay. And if you weren't doing this, you've been doing it for so long, advocacy, working in, human rights, people's rights. Now, City Councillor, if you weren't doing this, what do you think you'd do? What else would you want to give yourself a go at?
What else would I want to do? Because I've still got my law degree,
right?
So it would still be something in advocacy.
Okay.
I think, that seems to be a skill of mine, I hope. But I know it is because
absolutely.
And plus when Mum was sick, she wanted me there to ask the questions. So, that's my skill set. That's just me. I ask the questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why she wanted me there. So that's kind of validated for me. Oh, yeah, that's what I'm good at, is hearing, listening, and advocating, asking these questions. And the validation I took from that was our experience with Mum, because she would always have my brothers, my aunties, looking after her. She would ask for them. And so a part of me was like, oh, how come she didn't want me to, help her out or take her to the bathroom or massage her? But then when she had to go back in the ambulance and was dealing with all the doctors, that's when she asked for me. So I'm like, oh, yeah, cool, that's good. Like, play to our strengths. That was my strengths. That's what she needed. So, I'd be doing something in advocacy. Yeah.
And with Milo being, huge part of your life, what's a typical day look like for you two?
A typical day, if we're out in the community, we'll pack up his bag, because he has a bag, and then we'll just get in the car and we'll head to our events, and just one by one we'll go. He will get his treat is we'll go to a park. Maungakiekie, One Tree Hill is his favourite, because all the dogs are on leash,
right? So
he's safe. We used to go to Onehunga Lagoon, and I'd let him run around there. And that's what he loves. That's his treat, is to just be out, in the park or whatever, after we do all the events. Yeah. So that would be a day in the community for us. Otherwise, a normal day, I'll be home getting ready. I'll catch my bus. He'll walk me to the bus stop with my auntie, and then I'll be in town hall all day, and then a community event in the evening. So he'll be home. He has Sticks and Bones who come and walk him in the middle of the day.
Oh, wow.
They take him for a hood walk.
Mm-hmm.
And my auntie's with him. She lives just a few houses down from me, so she's with him the whole day. They do their prayers, so they're upstairs and they're praying a lot, and he will put his hands together like his paws,
his prayers,
and pray.
Nice.
And then he watches Bluey. He eats. Yeah, he goes out for his walks until I get home. Yeah,
that's so. So we're coming up to Christmas. Is the council winding down yet? You've still got a few events happening?
We have. We had our first official council meeting, formal council meeting, last Tuesday. Mm-hmm. That's where the mayor appointed his committee chairs.
Right.
So I was very fortunate to be reappointed to chair regulatory and safety.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So I'm happy. Happy with that. It's a lot of bylaws, a lot of hearings.
Okay.
So we've got more council workshops. Currently we're having workshops on PC 120, Plan Change 120. So this new, the direction from government to enable more capacity for housing and development, but focus in transport hubs and main transit corridors. So that's, the community is now, the public are now knowing about it, but they want to know more and how are they directly affected. So there's a genuine worry. People are like, what does this, because they all got a letter. And
yes, you got a letter too. Yeah.
So people got this letter, and what the majority of the queries I got was from people who are renting and people who are in kainga order homes, worried that the home that they're in was going to be demolished and they're going to be stuck looking for somewhere else to go. So that was what they perceived that letter to mean.
Right.
So
Which was not it.
No.
Okay.
I had to tell them, no, this is just about changing the planning rules. Doesn't mean the house you're in is going to be busted down unless your landlord is looking to build something 15 stories high. That's that. I had to do a lot of reassuring people that they weren't going to be kicked out. Yeah.
That would a scary time, especially when you get a letter like that. So that's also part of your work, isn't it? Is breaking down the misinformation or just not clarity around what it means.
Yeah, because not everybody is a planner. I've said in council meetings, I have 2 degrees and I don't understand this planning stuff.
Right.
Like, how's the average person in the street supposed to understand it? So I'm going to start doing some little clinics in the community to talk to people about this PC 120.
Yep.
Yeah.
How can people get hold of you?
Social media. So Facebook, ideally the Councillor Josephine Bartley page, as opposed to my personal page.
Right.
And I'm on Instagram under g.i_Joe. And that was from when I stood for Parliament in 2008. And Helen Clark said to me, you need to go and focus on GI, turn out GI to vote. So I did. I focused fully on GI, and then people started calling me G.I. Joe. So then that's how I got my Instagram handles. I'm on LinkedIn, or else email and phone. So the council email, the council phone, which is all on Google, but it's first dot last name at aucklandcouncil.govt.nz.
And people, if they're lucky to catch you and Milo out and about, or they can go onto the Milo and Josephine page?
Yep. On my TikTok, I've now changed that to Councillor Josephine and Milo.
Councillor Josephine.
Yeah, our TikToks, we put up our TikToks. People like our TikToks.
Oh, I can see why. Would you ever reconsider central government?
No. I used to say I wouldn't go for central government again because I didn't see the impact or the influence you had as a member of parliament. You're just one of many, but I don't think I would. I like local, but I have had so many people tell me, you need to be an MP, I don't know.
Well, you are. And, councillor, that is the work, isn't it? You're actually representing your constituents, you're advocating, you're out there. It's the largest city in the country, so, yeah. And that's huge.
Yeah, and I deal with all issues, which are also what the MP's office would deal with too. But I just think if they come to me, I don't like fob-offs. I really don't like fob-offs.
Yep.
So I try and deal with it myself. Unless I just don't see a way forward, then I will liaise with the MP's office. But I try not to.
All good things must come to an end. It's just been such a privilege to speak to you again. And congratulations being reappointed. Well-deserved win. And being here with you and Milo. Please, your last words.
Just thank you so much, Gladys and Gary, for having Milo and I on your podcast, and for having this podcast and getting the information out there. And I felt really comfortable and just like a chat. So I appreciate the platform. Thank you.
I really want a dog now, Gary. Please.
Pacifica wire, lifting every voice higher. Stories told side by side, on air and online. Tuning in together, no matter the weather. United we inspire. PacificaWire.com